Hello there and welcome to this new Blender tutorial. Today we are going to be making this present box here. There will be a follow-up tutorial before Christmas hopefully, which shows you how to make boxes like in this scene here, which I have made and uploaded to my website for you to download for free. So check the link in the description to get to my website so you can download it. I will be uploading once every month in my roadmap channel, and while I tried doing that once a week, it did not really work out because of a lack of time. So I will be giving out free 3D models for you to download every month. So obviously now it's December, so you can get Christmas presents, and yeah, let's hop right into it. So we will not delete the default cube, but we will delete the lamp because we don't need it, and probably the camera as well, as we don't need that as well. Now what we need to do is really hard. We click on the default cube, press tab, go to face selection mode, press on the top face, X, delete faces. That was probably the hardest part of this tutorial. Nah, just kidding. It's going to get a little bit more complicated, but not much. Now let's actually press G, Z, hold Control, and bring it up by half a unit or 1 unit. Yeah, 1 unit. So it lays on the grid perfectly. Now what we're going to do is press Tab and Alt click on this edge here to select all of it. Press G, Z, and bring it down to the height you want your present to be. I want mine to be rather small. I like it that way. Now what you can do is press F3 and type in set origin to center of mass, volume. That just sets the origin, and I'm going to enable my screencast keys so you can actually see what I am doing down here. That will make things a lot easier for you probably. Yeah, now we want to set our cursor to the height of this edge loop here, of this ring. We select it, should already be selected, Shift S, and cursor to selected. That places it right in the middle and right on the perfect height. Shift A, import a plane, should have dimensions that are not slightly bigger, it should be slightly bigger, but it should, right out of the box, fit the top of the box, which is not what we want. We want to scale it up just a tiny bit, then tab into edit mode, E to extrude, and bring it down, delete the face. Now we have this. Now keep in mind, you can really have this box be as slim or as wide as you want. For instance, you could make this like this. Now it looks like I don't know why, but it reminds me of apply the rotation and the scale by pressing Ctrl A and 10 rotation scale. It reminds me of the box that Harry Potter got when he was given his magic wand. But anyways, now what we want to do is give this some nice beveling. But before we do that, we are going to press Tab and give this an edge loop like this. Bevel it until it reaches rather far out, and I'm going to show you the reason for it on the lower part. Just go with it for now until I explain. We want to do the same here. We don't want it to go over, we want it to go just to here, and that fixes the shading when we go to shade smooth. Now we want to go into the modifiers, bevel and angle. Let us choose something like 0.0, I don't know, 1. 0.01 is too big. 0.0025. 0.0025 seems to be too small. Let me experiment. 0.005 seems to be a good value for me. So now, if I shade this smooth and give this the same bevel, so bevel 0.005 with 4 segments, you can see if I go here, it gets like really dark, and that is because it's trying to give us that shading that goes from this side over to that side, even though we have a bevel. If we go to that view again and we add in an edge loop, bevel it, you can see that darkness goes away quite a bit. And that is why we are doing that. We don't want to overextend it, so we actually lose our bevel. We just want to extend it far enough so it's not really visible. Yeah, so that is the modeling for our boxes, or for our box. You can obviously make them in different sizes. It absolutely does not matter. You can adjust the number of segments on the fly if you want some, or if you don't want any. Is up to you. Maybe you want a more low poly style. That would be fine as well. But you have seen that we have some ribbons going around here, and in the render, which I've shown you before, and we're going to make those by adding in the plane, making it a bunch smaller on only one axis. Voice crack, okay. Yeah, make it the size you want it to be. I want mine to be, for instance, like this. And do not mind the clipping. We are going to solidify it, and it's going to be right as it should be. Now if we press number pad 1, we can make this smaller along the X. We can perfectly see how much smaller we need it. We're going to adjust this later anyways, but for now, let's just do it like this. Press A. Wait, nope. Go into edit mode. A. E. And right until we hit the floor. So GZ and bring it down like so. And yeah, that is looking good. I don't want to save it, just Control A, rotation scale. Okay, now what we want to do is, we can see we have a bevel of 0.005 here, so we need that same bevel over here. Because it would be unrealistic if we had a different bevel there. The same number of segments. I think it was 4, no it was 3. 3 segments. Why is this a different width? 0.005. Okay, like that. That is better. Now let us delete the faces on the inside, because we don't need them for our ribbons. Like so. And yeah, now we need to solidify it to the outside, so you can see if I bring it to 1, it goes inside. If I bring it to -1, it goes to the outside. And that is what we want. Now let's give this some different thickness, maybe like 0.005. Actually, auto smooth this so I can see better. No, that's still too thick for a ribbon. Maybe 0.002. 0.002 is fine. Now get those corners here. And wait. Do I actually have them selected? Okay, let's just... okay, we're in face selection mode. That explains everything. Now scale on the x-axis until it matches. Like so. Now if we take off the solidify, we can see that it clips through the box, which we don't want, so we're going to add an edge loop in here, and an edge loop in here. Select both of them, go into number pad 1 view, and bring it up until the point where we need it. Maybe this view would be better for it. Just like so. And by the way, you want to set the bevel to angle. Don't want to bevel everything. I hope I did that. No, I did not. We want to set it to angle for everything. Okay, now that we have done that, we have basically finished one of the ribbons. Now we can just scale it as we like. I think this looks better. A bit slimmer. And maybe we want one that goes like this. We don't need to do everything again. We just copy this one, RZ90, scale it along the Y, and number pad 3 view. Obviously we will need to apply the rotation and the scale, and yeah, this should already be in the right spot here, and it is. Now we're going to try and bring them outwards. Just going to do it fast because I've already shown you how to do it. And yeah, there we go. You have successfully finished 2 ribbons. Apply rotation and scale for everything just to make sure. And yeah, you can see that they clip through, and that will create some nasty shading artifacts. Now what you can do for that is go to one ribbon that you want to be over the other. I'm not going to bother for the bottom part of it now because it does not matter for me. Just add an edge loop, Ctrl R, and then Ctrl B until you can see it. Wait, let me just turn off solidify for both. Ctrl B until it goes over the other ribbon. Now we actually need to solidify this one again, this one again. Notepad 3, G, Z, and bring it up like so. Make it as small as needed, like so. And it successfully looks perfect. We have successfully made this, and it looks as it should with this going over this. But wait, on this side I've made a mistake. Okay, let me see. Where is this? It's here. Approximately like this. You get the trick. And we have made this box. Now for the shading. The shading is a bit interesting, and I would like to show you some tricks which I used for to make this. Now first the world origin, add in a plane just for ground. So for the box, I'm going to call this box. I'm going to add in a noise texture. Plug it into the base color. Now you see that gives us this distorted thing here, which we don't want. So add in a texture coordinate, plug the object into the vector. Now you see it's way more uniform here. Now we can add in a mix RGB and plug this into the vector. Now we can just go like blue and some lighter blue, like this. Maybe some deeper blue. You can crank up the detail if you want, the roughness if you have a newer version of Blender, but I'm still sticking to this one until my new PC parts arrive. You can play around with the scale of this, so you can make it as detailed as you want, but at some point it just starts looking odd, so I would suggest sticking to like 10-ish numbers, so like 15 at max. I'm gonna stick to 12, maybe 13, yeah, I like this. Now give this the same material, box, and that is for the color. And what we are going to do is add in another noise texture, plug it into the normal, add in a normal map in between, and set this to something really low, like 0.02. And what that should be doing, I'm going to show you. Wait, let us just put the object into the vector again. That is going to do is it's going to create some bump along the top, which is not really visible right now. Let us just crank that up. Let's just make it finer, a lot finer, like 80. Now you can see it adds some bump, but this is way too strong obviously, so like do it like this, and just some fine and subtle bump. Detail to 0, maybe even less. Just something along these lines, like 120. It's just some little surface imperfection, nothing more. You can play around with the value until you like it. Just don't make it too high. For the ribbons, I'm going to create a new material and just call it rib. We can go ahead and give them a mix RGB as well. Not a mix shader, a mix RGB. Plug that into the color. Going to do a dark blue, a really dark blue, maybe even a bit desaturated, and a lighter blue. Now what we can do is get a wave texture that is going to create some ribbon type of effect. Plug that into the vector. Now if we look at this, what it does is basically it gives us lines, which is what we want basically. Now we would need a mapping node and a texture coordinate node with object coordinates, like so, and rotate them along 45 degrees. Not on this axis apparently, on the y-axis, and that should do the trick for that one. Now the number of those bands is determined by the scale, so you could go really nuts with it and do like 60 or something like that. Maybe 60 isn't even that nuts, maybe even 70. Depends on how close you want them to be. I'm just going to go with 55. And what it does to the mix RGB is basically it does this, which already looks like a ribbon, but not yet, not quite. So we can plug the same thing into the normal and add in a bump texture, or bump node, place it into the height, and basically make it really small on the distance, like 0.005. Let's try this. Preview it. We have some bump, but maybe this is even still too strong. Let's try this. And if we go into cycles and open an HDRI, see that we have something that basically looks like a ribbon. If I isolate this here, it goes like in and out. Maybe I would make more now that I look at it. 80. Yeah, this looks better. Just finer detail, which I like more. So yeah, you can use that. I would make it fairly rough, like 0.7 in the roughness. You could give it some subsurface if you wanted to, but it's not going to add too much, and it's just going to increase your render times. Now, if we go back into shaded view and give the other ribbon the same material, so rib, it's going to maybe be rotated if you applied the scale and the rotation. So you would actually need to make this a separate material and rotate it along different axes. So the Z axis most likely. Yep, and that does the trick for that one. I hope you like this, and I'm going to see you in the next tutorial when I do the other Christmas packaging. I will see you later, and bye.